Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. And for those of you who are going to work, I hope that you have a good day at work. And so let's get started. So for today, we have BlackRock pacing to overtake MicroStrategy as world's largest Bitcoin holder by summer. MicroStrategy had a head start of 190,000 Bitcoin, but BlackRock is eating up the coin. Look out, MicroStrategy. Here comes BlackRock. The world's largest asset manager is raking in Bitcoin at an increased pace for its newly listed spot ETF, with no signs of slowing down. Between Friday and Monday, BlackRock's Bitcoin holdings for its ETF jumped 8% alone, doubling a 4% clip of the same period a week prior. Out of the gate, BlackRock's Bitcoin-focused offering has outshined the other ETFs in terms of net inflows, including those from Fidelity and ARK Invest. Since spot Bitcoin ETFs debuted a month ago, BlackRock has accumulated more than 95,276 Bitcoin for its iShares Bitcoin Trust that's worth $4.7 billion as of this writing. While the two firms hold Bitcoin for different reasons, BlackRock's Bitcoin stash already represents half that of MicroStrategy's. The world's largest public Bitcoin holder, BlackRock holds Bitcoin solely for its ETF backing, while MicroStrategy has embraced the coin as a treasury reserve asset. According to a model from Coinage, BlackRock could overtake MicroStrategy as of early May. It will happen eventually, said Bloomberg Intelligence ETF analyst Eric Balchunas on X, formerly known as Twitter, acknowledging that BlackRock should someday become the world's largest Bitcoin holder. Since MicroStrategy began buying Bitcoin in 2020, the software firm has amassed 190,000 Bitcoin worth $9.2 billion under the leadership of co-founder and executive chairman Michael Saylor. Last week, he announced that MicroStrategy had bought another $37 million in Bitcoin January on X, continuing to highlight the firm's seemingly sporadic purchases. The purchase was made with excess cash the firm had as 2023 came to an end. Andrew Kang, MicroStrategy's senior executive vice president and chief financial officer, said during the company's most recent earnings call in the fourth quarter of 2023, he said that 31,000 Bitcoin acquired by the firm marked MicroStrategy's biggest buying spree since the same quarter in 2020. Over the past couple of years, MicroStrategy's stock has been viewed as a proxy for Bitcoin exposure on Wall Street, and Saylor's focus on Bitcoin has paid off as a crypto winter thaws. MicroStrategy's stock has surged 178% over the past year to $692 per share, as of this writing outpacing Bitcoin's 130% climb from around $22,000. Yet, with the launch of spot Bitcoin ETFs, institutional investors that are limited to holding securities have a plethora of options to choose from, including BlackRock's ETF. On said earnings call, Saylor described the launch of spot Bitcoin ETFs in the U.S. as a key development for Bitcoin as an asset, a tide that could shift investors' overall makeup. I think the approval of the spot ETFs marked is that supposed to be ETF? It says ETP. Marked an inflection point in the history of Bitcoin, Saylor said, adding it demarcates the era of retail offshore unregulated crypto adoption from an era of onshore regulated institutional Bitcoin adoption by the mainstream investors. Among mainstream investors, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink could be considered one of the world's most influential, and while he famously called Bitcoin an index of money laundering in 2017, Fink has recently turned the page, saying Bitcoin could possibly protect investors against governments devaluing their currencies in January. Well, yeah, there you have it. Because inflation is real. Inflation is happening all around us. Remember, your groceries and the houses aren't getting more expensive. The value of your currency is getting less and less. We know about what happened to Germany after Germany lost the war against the Allied nations. What happened? The losing party of the war always has to pay back the people who they lost to. And so Germany had to basically pay its debts. And it got to a point where people were bringing in wheelbarrows, like push carts of money to buy a loaf of bread. That's how much their currency got devalued. So let's take a page from their book and learn. And also, we got to start saving our energy into cryptocurrencies. Okay, next up, we have a pop-up. Okay, so we have Larry David calls himself an idiot for doing infamous FTX Super Bowl ad. Sam Bankman-Fried's cryptocurrency exchange infamously collapsed months after the commercial. Comedian Larry David was self-deprecating when asked this week about his infamous Super Bowl commercial for Sam Bankman-Fried's cryptocurrency exchange, which collapsed months after the ad. I asked people, friends of mine who are well-versed in this stuff, should I do this ad? He told the Associated Press in an interview this week. He said, yeah, this is totally on the up and up, so like an idiot, I did it. Oh, he's trying to deflect blame. He's like, I asked people and friends of mine, whatever happens to you is 100% your responsibility. Had he just said, in the end, I decided to make the decision to do the ad, and turns out it wasn't a good one. Okay, but he's trying to say, I asked friends of mine, like, no. But I get it. This is what the CIA teaches you. The CIA teaches you, admit nothing, deny everything, make counter accusations. But he's not doing that. He's deflecting. But he is in a way, like, he's just trying to give the whole context of the picture. But he definitely should have done his own research, but he saw those dollar signs, and he was like, yo, should I do this? In the commercial, David portrayed characters belittling various innovations throughout history. I call it the wheel, he's told as the commercial begins. I don't think so, David replies. He then disparages the fork, toilet, coffee, and other things, ending with Bankman-Fried's crypto exchange. An actor tells him, like I was saying, it's FTX, it's a safe and easy way to get into crypto. They respond, I don't think so, I'm never wrong about this stuff, never. Then the text, don't be like Larry, is displayed on the screen. It turned out the sarcastic version of David was onto something. FTX collapsed spectacularly months later, and Bankman-Fried was convicted in November 23 of stealing billions of dollars from customers. FTX users were mostly unable to withdraw their money from FTX as it was falling apart in November 2022, and his bankruptcy filing 9 days after CoinDesk scoop triggered this chain of events further froze funds. Yeah, I remember I was on Twitter when that was happening, and people were going crazy. They were like, "Yo, like, how do I get my assets out of this thing?" And they were like they were putting their money in NFTs and then cashing out the NFTs. They were talking to people on the island like, "Yo, do I have to come to the Bahamas to get my coins because you're about to give this to me? Because it's really crazy out here." Like Sam Bankman-Fried committed massive fraud, but if the victims do get repaid, he might actually be walking. Okay, so SEC Chair Gary Gensler outlines very real economic difference between Bitcoin and the US dollar. This should be good. Let's hear what what's his name? Gary Gensler. I was thinking of Larry Fink because we just read about him. Gary Gensler has to say. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) Chairman Gary Gensler has outlined a very real economic difference between crypto like Bitcoin and fiat currencies like the U.S. dollar. You have a whole central bank and support for one currency, generally per economic region, the SEC chief noted, adding that we don't have the same in Bitcoin. Yes, that's because the central bank is owned by private people. The central bank has been causing inflation through the devaluation of our currencies through money printing. The central bank is not a real bank that's good for the people. The central bank controls the money, where the money should be controlled by the people. This is what Abraham Lincoln got assassinated for. This is what JFK got assassinated for. Okay, because of this guy Gary Gensler. He's a maybe I should stop talking shit. maybe I should stop because but the point is that Gary Gensler is not somebody to be trusted at all. So Gary Gensler weighs in on Bitcoin, US dollar, and ETFs. The chairman of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, Gary Gensler, tackled a wide range of topics, including Bitcoin, the progress of spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, Ethereum, ETF prospects, decentralization, and ransomware. In an interview with CNBC on Wednesday, he also defended the importance of fiat currencies like the US dollar against Bitcoin. Gensler was asked to comment on JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon, stating that the true use case for Bitcoin is criminal, drug trafficking, money laundering, and tax avoidance. Dimon also stated that he would close crypto down if he were the government. Gensler replied by pointing out that if Bitcoin is leading market share in ransomware, and that's publicly known, adding, "is a token of choice for ransomware." Responding to CNBC anchor Joe Kernan highlighting the significant amount of money laundering occurring in the US dollars compared to the relatively tiny amount associated with Bitcoin, Gensler described the US dollar, the euro, or the yen. You have the whole society using it as a medium exchange. We buy our cups of coffee, we get paid in dollars or yen or euro. And you have a whole central bank and support for one currency, generally per economic region, that we don't have here in Bitcoin. So there's a very real economic difference. Do not trust Gary Gensler at all. Don't trust him. Which is part of the attractions, Kernan interrupted Gensler, noting that since Bitcoin is decentralized, you cannot have a profligate central bank. What does profligate mean? But I think he's onto something. Profligate. Recklessly extravagant or wasteful in the use of resources. Yes, that's right. However, Gensler quickly countered, it's not that decentralized. He clarified that he was not talking about ETFs being centralized, stating, not decentralized because look how finance tends towards centralization since antiquity. So what do we have? We have a handful of 3 to 6 core so-called crypto. Gensler then questioned the CNBC anchor, how many times are people on the show that say, I don't want to invest in something because of how the books and records are kept? It's just an accounting ledger. Reacting to Kernan pointing out that the Bitcoin bulls say they trusted a lot more than the central bank that enables the fiscal authorities to spend money to the tune of $33 trillion. Gensler responded, that's everybody's investment choice. When asked about other use cases for Bitcoin and crypto other than ransomware that make them so attractive to so many people, Gensler replied, speculative investing. It has been about 1 month since the SEC approved 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs. The chairman was asked about his outlook on the Bitcoin market, given the recent price surge above $50,000 and the significant inflows into these ETFs. Well, look, we focus on investor protection, and of course, the issue is raising money. So this product, we have had similar products in gold and silver ETFs. Gensler details elaborate. We approved a group of about 11 at one time. This was not the first way you could buy or express a risk in Bitcoin. But as we like to say, we're merit neutral. This was not in any way like an approval of Bitcoin that existed. It's just how to trade in these exchange traded products.